Hello everyone, I'm Kamar from in45.com. In today's video, I'm going to explain basically how you can enable and configure Hyper-V. And this is just an extension video for the article that I have written. And it's one of the prerequisites that needs to be done in order to start your cybersecurity journey. This is one set of articles or blogs that we are starting. It will be considering articles as well as the video as well for your cybersecurity journey. So if you are a student and you are interested in cybersecurity, or if you are a early age of your secure IT journey job, you are in initial age of your career into and you are interested making career into the cybersecurity, then you can consider subscribing to this article, this blog, or and the YouTube channel too. Yeah. So having said that, let's come to the point where how you can enable and configure Hyper-V in Windows 10. Uh, there are three different way by which we can enable Hyper-V. But before I let you show how we can exactly start it quickly, before I want to show you little bit about. I want to tell you something about Hyper-V. So, what basically is Hyper-V? Hyper-V is a virtualization tool that allows you to install multiple operating system under single hardware. Like if you look at your task manager of your machine, look at my machine. There are multiple operating systems installed as in VMs, and it's ranging below 40% as a CPU utilization. Memory is also less than 40%. It is so clearly the hardware capability of this machine is completely underutilized. And if we enable the virtualization, and then we can use this hardware as per the optimum label, and you can also install multiple operating system in order to learn different kind of operating system or do different kind of tests, set up different labs that is required to learn the cybersecurity journey. So in order to install enable the Hyper-V, you just need to make sure that the virtualization is enabled into your machine. And how you can check that, you can go to the settings, task manager, performance, and you can check here virtualization is enabled. If it is not showing enabled into your machine, you can simply go to the BIOS using Google it what exactly is the shortcut key for your machine. It is different generally for different manufacturer. So you can go there, and once you go into the BIOS, it's similar to every machine. Go to security and just enable the virtualization. Once it is done, restart your machine, come back to your machine, and I will tell you how you can uh, enable the Hyper-V. So these are the free conditions that are there that needs to be met to in order to install Hyper-V, which is completely free and it comes under Windows 10 machine, except one of the edition which is called Windows 10 Home Edition. Rest every whether it's a professional edition or enterprise edition, Hyper-V is already there. So you just need to enable, restart your machine, and you are good to install uh, the other operating system. Okay, so these three methods are there by you can enable by using CMD. You can start run the CMD using elevated command, like right click on it and start with the administrative privilege, and then you can simply type this command and then press enter, and you will see uh, that yeah, it's as simple as it's much quicker in my case because it's already enabled, but in your case it may take some more seconds or a minute, and then it will prompt you to restart your machine because this is something that is required and in every case. So you don't have to do this Hyper-V enabling of the Hyper-V by all these three methods. Anyone will do, and it's just for the way I'm just explaining how you can do it with a different way. Now, if you want to enable it using PowerShell, you can simply start the PowerShell using the administrative PowerShell admin. And what you can do, you can simply press Windows X, and you will see PowerShell admin, and you can just click and it will there. And then run this command: enable Windows optional feature dash online dash feature name Microsoft Hyper-V, and what all of them, all the feature. and then you click on it and it will check if it is enabled or not. If you see the online path, it's true, which means it is enabled. Restart is needed. For me it is saying false. In your case it will say uh, true, so you will have to restart your machine. The other method is by using through settings. How you can do it through settings, you can simply go ahead and type feature into the start and just click on it, and it will give you the feature to start. The third option is just you can just go ahead and find the Hyper-V. Here it is. You can click on this plus sign to expand and see there are two more options. You make sure that these both are checked, and then click OK, and again it will prompt you for the restart. And that is all. These by three methods you can simply enable Hyper-V. The next episode of this video will be on installing the Kali Linux machine. I forgot to add one more thing that you need to do once you have enabled the Hyper-V, restarted the machine. You can simply go to search and type Hyper. You will get the Hyper-V manager, and then it will be something like this. It will be one screen in which, in your case, there will not be any machine. These are three machines that is running under my lab. It will be here in the left hand side. It will be your computer's name, the device name, and in this part will be blank. And in the right hand side there will be a couple of options. I'm not going into all of the options in detail because we'll discuss once we install the Kali Linux. What you need to do actually is setting up the network connectivity so that your base machine, your host machine like Windows 10, and your host machine with a guest machine, which is your Kali Linux, can communicate to each other, and also your guest machine can take connectivity, network, or internet from your host machine in order to communicate to the outside world. And in order to do that, what you need to do is that you need to click on Virtual Switch Manager, go to New, select External, and create Virtual Switch. Rename it something like VS2, and then like whatever changes you will make, it will appear here. Now you come here for your recall or remember, you can put some comment here, or it's not even necessary. Here is the important part. This external part is selected. Here you need to select which network adapter you want to connect with. So if you are using Ethernet connection, LAN cable connection into your desktop machine or into your laptop, you should select Ethernet or whatever Ethernet connection name it is showing. It may be different in your case. For me, it's Intel Ethernet, and but I have selected using Wi-Fi because my laptop gets connected to Wi-Fi only. Most of the time, I connect with the Wi-Fi. So this is what you need to connect, and click apply and OK. You will see my external switch I already have created with Intel Wi-Fi and allow, and this is all. It will create uh, basically one bridge which will be used as in connection. If I can show you. Let me just show you ncpa.cpl ncpa.cpl. So if you see, I have created this. The name should be my external switch, which is the virtual network adapter, which is also called VNIC or the NAT, um, and it creates the network bridge, which gets connected with my uh, a Wi-Fi connection. Look at my Wi-Fi connection. It says enabled and bridged. So it is bridged with this one so that both the machine can communicate. It will not only let you communicate with this particular machine, it will let you, if you select the same network adapter, it will let you communicate with all those machines which are there. So yeah, that is all about this particular episode, and in the next episode I will tell you how you can install Kali Linux, and once you install the Kali Linux, what exactly are the settings that you need to apply, and your Kali Linux would be there. Yeah, like this. See, it is connected with the internet. It's a wired connection, uh, and then like setting up this whole screen and everything that we'll do in the next episode. So this is it about this particular episode. If you like my content, just go ahead and like this video and stay connected, so that once I bring the next episode forward, you can have uh, the articles or the video handy. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.